It's been a long time since I really covered the blades of Xenoblade 2 in great detail, and truth be told, many of my earlier videos on them aren't the greatest from a presentation standpoint, and in the past 3 years I have acquired a lot more knowledge about the game. As such, I wanted to remake many of those older videos as well as cover all of the blades in a fun series of video to give you a lot more in-depth knowledge on each blade, how to use them effectively, and their biggest strengths. If this series is enjoyable to you and you want more content on the Xeno series, be sure to subscribe to the channel because it does help out so much, and look forward to all of my future uploads. First on the list, I wanted to cover Crossette. She is someone pretty much everyone will have access to as soon as you are able to pull blades with no RNG required, assuming you have the DLC, which trust me is super worth it, and as such I think this makes her a nice first candidate for this series. If you have seen my speedrun of the game, then you're certainly aware of just how much of a terror this little devil can be, and she's easily one of the strongest blades the game has to offer you. But how did this cute little pyre fangirl turn into such a terrifying wrecking force considering she's supposed to just be a simple healer bitball blade? Well, the first thing you should understand is that the role of a blade does not really matter much. Just because a blade is classified as a role doesn't mean they have to function as their role exclusively, and Crossette is a perfect example of that. What matters more is the skills they have on their affinity chart, their blade specials, and to a lesser extent, their stats. This is the fundamental thing that influences how a blade plays, and is important to making blades of the same weapon class stand out and feel different from each other since they share the same driver arts. So what does Crossette offer in this department? She comes with very solid 25-25 defenses, which means you have 25 physical damage reduction and 25% ether damage reduction. The 25% for physical damage is the highest among every healer blade in the entire game, with no other healers besides Boreas even being higher than 10%. This also puts her well above nearly every other offensive blade, and in line with a lot of the tank blades as far as defenses. She also comes with a 20% ether mod, which is not the most impactful thing, but it is a pretty strong stat mod effect nonetheless. When her trust is maxed out, she has a cooldown of 5, which is among the lowest in the game, so she'll be able to be used very frequently. Trust levels are very important for blades, and the difference between even S and S+ is pretty significant for attack and damage, so make sure you're always trying to max out the blades that you want to use a lot. On her skill tree, her 3 battle skills are all pretty dang strong. Unlike some blades that need scaling and levels on their skills to truly become terrifying, Crossette has some immediately strong effects, which is why she can be such a monster even when you first obtain her. Alchemy Adept boost fusion combo effects by 30% at level 1, going to 60% at level 5. I've made a lot of videos explaining fusion combos in the past, so check that out if you want more details, but basically this will amplify any effect bonuses you get from using driver combos and blade combos at the same time. Applying a break with Crossette, which is the only driver combo she has access to, and only with Nia, will extend blade combo duration 60% longer than usual. Using a blade combo with Crossette on top of a driver combo will amplify all damage 60% more than usual. Party gauge gains from fusion combos will be amplified also, and any other additional effects that you can think of will of course also be amplified. Fusion combos are incredibly strong effects, and this is a very powerful ability that I'll show off more later. Pyrotechnics is a skill that increases all party damage to launch enemies by 200% additive damage at level 1, and increases to 300% at level 5. Now Dahlia has a skill like this, except it only reaches 225% at level 5, which Crossette reaches at level 2, and it doesn't even affect the entire party. Yeah, Crossette is really good. Now unfortunately, in many situations, launch isn't the most useful driver combo to have extra damage on, but it does have some pretty powerful niche uses, and knowing how to use this ability effectively can still be very powerful. And finally, Crossette's final skill is Gathering Sparks. This skill is the crux of her kit, and probably the main reason she's so powerful. At level 1, it gives a 60% additive damage increase for each health potion she collects. At level 5, this increases to 100%, but no matter what level this ability is, it will always cap at 500%. 500% is an insanely high total for this skill, and it's the largest single damage increase any blade has with any skill on their skill tree. And the full effect is available at level 1, and all you have to do is collect potions. This is an enormously powerful effect since every single driver has an art that can basically drop health potions with Crossette. Crossette also has additional ways to get health potions, and if you plan to driver combo enemies, you get free health potions from topples, launches, and smashes too. Basically, this is not a difficult effect to build up over the course of a battle at all. Sure, it won't immediately be available if you're going for some insanely fast kill setups, which could be a negative, but otherwise this ability is insanely good, and the only real weakness this ability has is that it will reset if you swap off Crossette, so taking full advantage of this ability means you will need to stay on Crossette and not swap blades. You will also need to be the driver collecting the potions. If your AI gets them, it will not count towards the effect. All in all three of these battle skills are very powerful and have uses that give her some of the strongest damage and party support. Crossette has 4 blade specials, as does everyone, but only the first 3 can be seen on the affinity chart. Level 4 specials are hidden by the game for some reason, but they essentially will always have their maximum damage ratio and effect without ever having to level them up on the skill tree, making them very strong earlier in the game. It should be worth noting that all of Crossette's specials and all of her damage in general is ether-based. There is nothing physical in Crossette's entire kit, and every bitball art is also ether-based. Crossette's first special is Go! Great Star! It is a 7-hit special that is pretty dang fast, making it good for setting up fusion combos. It starts at a ratio of 300 at level 1 and will raise by 50 each level, and goes to 500 at level 5, which can further be raised to 528 at max affinity, which is technically level 6. Worth noting, max affinity will always increase special level by 1, and ratio scaling is linear from 1 through 5, but oftentimes different for level 6. This ratio of 528 ties her with a lot of the stronger offensive blades for level 1 special ratio, and she is only losing to all 3 Aegis forms, Pandoria, Corvin, and Elma, further showing off her power. Additionally, it has a bonus effect of always spawning a health potion, and most of the time will spawn 2, making this an amazing special for Crossette, since it will instantly give her access to potions so she can stack up gathering sparks, and usually you will have time to move around at full movement speed to collect these potions and any other spawned potions before the special finishes. It also has a 25% critical modifier, which means the critical hit chance is increased by 25% for this special, and it has an area of effect in a circle around the ball. A final thing to note is that the first 6 hits have roughly half the damage ratio, and the last hit has the other half of the damage ratio. 7 hits for a level 1 special is on the upper end of hit counts, but do keep this in mind if you have some more optimal setups and want to max out the damage in a chain attack. All around, this is a really good special and probably something you're going to want to use very quickly early on in most battles to get those potions. Crossette's level 2 special is Go! Shooting Star! This is a 10-hit special that is also pretty fast, making it another good special for setting up fusion combos. It starts at a ratio of 400 at level 1 before reaching a ratio at 640 at level 5, which is increased to 696 at max affinity. Once again, tying her with a lot of the stronger offensive blades for a level 2 ratio, only losing to Elma, Corvin, Numa, Pandoria, and Crossette. Yeah, Crossette. Regardless, this is another powerful special with a lot of its damage ratio being put in the last hit instead of the first 9 hits, so once again, do keep that in mind if you want to use her in optimized chain attacks. 17 hits for her first 2 specials can make her one of the best chain attacking blades in the game, so do keep that in mind. This special has an even more powerful critical modifier of 50%, and it also has AoE, and its effect restores damage on each hit equal to a percentage of damage dealt. With Crossette's powerful damage, this is basically a full heal at any time and could be pretty useful to time when an enemy is using a powerful multi-hit attack. Crossette's level 3 is Go! Lucky Star! Now this special is a bit slower than the others, so if you care about speed, then this one isn't the greatest. It's also only 2 hits, making it a poor choice for chain attacks. It starts at a damage ratio of 500 and increases all the way to 780 at level 5, which becomes 850 at level 6. This again puts her in one of the higher damage ratio tiers, losing only to Elma, Corvin, Cosmos, Telos, Herald, Patroka, and of course Numa, which are all some of the strongest offensive blades in the game, plus Corvin, who is a special case when it comes to special damage ratios. The effect on this special allows you to nullify enemy guard rate, which isn't the most useful much of the time, but it also has a hidden bonus effect of Pierce, which means it also nullifies and bypasses enemy defense values so you always do full damage, something your other specials don't do, making this a powerful option against enemies with higher defenses, or for just doing the maximum amount of blade combo damage outside of chain attacks. It even has a critical modifier of 100%, so it's made to do damage. The distribution of the damage is 1/3 on the first hit and the other 2/3 on the last hit. Crossette's level 4 is Go! Miracle Star! Crossette will get super duper mad and demolish the enemy. Level 4 specials have a special property of freezing driver combos, making them really good for setting up fusion combos, which is something Crossette is very good at, and they can also give you invincibility frames to attacks. As mentioned earlier, they'll always be at their maximum ratio and effect, in this case an insane ratio of 1305 for this special, only losing to Mithra, Numa, Corvin, Elma, Poppy Buster, Shulk, and Fiora, which is 5 other DLC blades and then the Aegis. And the bonus effect is increases critical damage by 85%. Now, critical damage is an independent multiplier to additive damage, which Crossette has a lot of, and that means both effects of damage are going to be multiplied together, and she will get a lot of benefit on this attack if it crits enemies. It helps that she gets a 60% critical modifier on the attack as well, further allowing her to get even more crits. This effect makes the special extremely powerful, and it's one of the reasons you can just use this to melt enemies in the speedrun, and also a reason high critical hit rate can be so powerful on Crossette. Now, this does not pierce defense like her level 3 special, and it won't get a 25% damage boost at max affinity like level 1 through 3 specials do, but because of this bonus effect, it will still usually outdamage her level 3 special, especially earlier in the game when you haven't leveled up her level 3. This is a great special to use during the game to finish off blade combos, and is an excellent way to set up fusion combos as well. As far as setting up Crossette for maximum effectiveness, I'd recommend a Moon Matter core chip post-game to maximize her critical hit rate to a decent 30%, but really as long as you give her a good critical hit rate, she'll be solid. For Aux cores, you'll likely want to focus on boosting damage further, so Affinity Max Attack is always going to be a strong option. Other good Aux cores include Fusion Combo Up to further increase fusion effects, Night Vision for perfect accuracy, and Outdoor-Indoor Attack to give her even more solid additive attacking power. For driver accessories, a Crimson Headband is a must, or any other critical damage increase. This is independent as a multiplier from additive damage, as mentioned earlier, so this will maximize your damage when landing critical hits, which is very useful. Ball Attachment is another strong item to consider, since this will also increase your blade attack stat, which just increases all your damage in general more than something like an Abyss Mask or Divine Band Braces would, since those are additive bonuses that would just stack with Crossette's other strong additives. Noise Dampener or an eye patch for the damage ratio increase on arts is extremely powerful if you are using an art spam Crossette, which I will show off given on 3 drivers she has a very low cooldown and spammable art. Burst Symbol is great if you're going for chain attacks, and a Beta or Master Scope is an excellent accessory to put on Nia if you want to use Crossette for braking. Healing accessories like a medal are not needed since Crossette can heal on any driver you choose easily. For pouch items, Crossette's favorite category is dessert, so just using the 2 strongest 0.4 art recharge options will give you the maximum art recharge of 1.0 for spamming arts, which is very, very powerful with Crossette. I would recommend using Crossette on Zeke or Nia. Rex is a very bad option due to having pretty slow bitball arts and no art with a cooldown of 3, with his lowest only being a cooldown of 6. Morak has an art with a cooldown of 3, but her arts are also pretty slow, and her art with a cooldown of 3 has a pretty low damage ratio of only 280. Nia is a great option for Crossette in the early and mid-game, and is still really solid even into the late and post-game, and Crossette is probably Nia's best possible blade. She gets a break art with Crossette, which is very helpful, a good heal, and a good fast potion art. She also has a pretty good 3 cooldown art with 360 ratio that you could replace the break art with later on if you have Cutie Pie or something to take over breaking. Zeke will eventually scale better with Crossette for pure damage, with Pulverizing Dunk being the 3 cooldown art, which is very fast and has a huge 450 ratio, making it spammable and powerful. Shell Shot is easily a full party heal later in the game with Crossette's massive damage, and Precipitous Impact is a serviceable potion art. Dunk is definitely the main reason Zeke is so strong with her though. At max affinity, arts also gain 1 level just like blade specials do, so this cooldown will actually go to 2, making it recharge insanely fast, and it becomes one of the strongest DPS art options in the game. I suppose that's enough talk about her and setup though. Let's look at some practical applications. So, for the sake of showing off a lot of her power, let's fight our favorite Super Boss Punching Bag on normal mode. So the first thing you're probably going to want to do in any Crossette fight is get your potions as fast as possible. This means using your potion art and using your level 1 special and just collecting all the potions you see on the ground when you do that. If you got some support from someone such as Poppy, who can provide breaks and launches, and someone that can topple like the Aegis, then you can get even more potions that will help out your cause quite a bit. From there, your damage is going to be immense, and you can focus on your ridiculously high blade and fusion combo damage. For example, in this fight, I decide to wait for the topple here, I get additionally lucky with his elemental weakness and rage, and you're going to see the level 4 just absolutely annihilate his health bar. And this also goes into another thing Crossette can do fairly well, which is damage over time. Now, he doesn't have a lot of health for it to really showcase itself here, but you'll see that my orange number on him is over 600,000, so every just tick of damage over time is doing 600,000 damage to him. So yeah, build up Crossette's damage and you have the setup I run, and you'll be really good here. Secondly, let's talk about fusion combos in particular to increase your own damage. This is more in line with chain attack strategies and one of the main uses of fusion combos. So first of all, I'm going to show you just chain attacking without setting up a fusion combo. Tor did get a break there, but I did not use any blade combo on top of a driver combo here. You can see, besides the last hit, which hit damage cap, the first hit of Crossette special was doing between 200 and 400,000 damage. Nothing particularly special there. You also get a baseline for Poppy Cutie's, Pie's damage, and Pyre's damage as well. And now we're going to do the same thing again, except we're going to set up a fusion combo. And in order to do that, we are going to use one of Crossette's blade combos on top of a driver combo. We're going to use our level 2 special here when we think Tor is going to break again, and then we're going to launch a chain attack right afterwards. Everything's going to be the same, except we're just going to use this blade combo on top of the driver combo, and now we're going to chain attack. With Crossette's insane bonus to fusion combo damage, you are now going to see my level 1 special do more than double the damage it was doing before. Yes, this makes fusion combos extremely powerful, and you're going to see the exact same thing with Poppy's damage and the exact same thing with Pyre's damage. Setting up and taking advantage of these fusion combos is one of the most powerful things Crossette can do. And chain attacks are just really good. Thirdly, let me show you the basic pulverizing dunk art spam strategy. Once again, you'll start the fight as normal, just gather up your potions to build up your damage. And then instead of using any more combos or worrying about anything like that, you're just going to spam the art pulverizing dunk. Now, at max affinity, it has a cooldown of 2, and while you won't get the blue circle around yourself to indicate a cancel, it will count as a cancel for the purpose of noise dampener damage ratio, because your animation has not quite finished yet. This means you will get the full damage benefit for the cancel, even if you don't get the other benefits. And it's easily testable, because you'll see my damage isn't actually lowering at all, despite me not actually canceling perfectly. But I'm still getting the cancel bonus for the damage. On launch, I'm doing over 700,000 per art. And you can see just how this is a really, really powerful art spamming strategy. It can absolutely destroy most enemies in the game because they don't have enough HP to just deal with Crossette's insane damage. And to exemplify this effect even further, let me show you Crossette's strongest use in challenge mode. So the first thing you are going to notice here is that I'm going to swap to Crossette when we get a launch here. And that's going to show that Crossette increases the damage on launched enemies from your entire party, which I haven't actually shown much, but that is an important thing to remember and an important effect that Crossette does offer. Next, I'm going to show you the power of Crossette with Overdrive and the art spam strategy. Overdrive is going to increase our damage even further, which is good, but even more than that, it's going to increase our art recharge rate even further. So with Overdrive active, if you can get to a count of 170 in this game, Pulverizing Dunk will have an instant cooldown. It will have a cooldown of only 1. Now, that is insane because now we can cancel Pulverizing Dunk even faster than we were before because we don't have to wait for the additional cooldown. And you're going to see right here, I can spam Dunk just over and over and over. And when the enemy gets launched or anything like that, I'm going to be hitting damage caps. Because once again, Crossette does increase damage to launched enemies. I have Numa active here, so I get 100% crit rate as well, so you're just seeing the absolute power of Crossette right here. This enemy has 125 million HP, but Crossette is going to make short work of him in only 2.5 minutes. This Overdrive Pulverizing Dunk spam strategy has the highest DPS in the game, surpassing Pandoria with Eye of Shining Justice and surpassing Fiora. That's right! This little healer Bitball Blade has the highest DPS in the game if you can set up an overdrive for her. It does require more setup than other methods, and you won't get as good AoE as you might with Fiora and Morag, but it's still very powerful. This art also can't be interrupted at all. Since it's only a 1 cooldown art, you don't have to worry about crit recharge, you don't have to worry about your attack getting blocked or something, or miss or anything like that. It will always be able to recharge no matter what, just because of how insanely short the cooldown is. Crossette can also full heal with Shell Shot, as you just saw there, and overall, she's just an absolute monster in pretty much every way, no matter how you choose to use her. Great on Nia, excellent on Zeke, and a terror to anything she meets. Crossette might be a Pyra fangirl, but she's easily surpassed her hero in strength as a blade and is probably the strongest blade in the entire game in the early and mid-game, and remains a very strong option even in post-game. I think that probably covers it for this guide, and I hope you all learned a lot of things about Crossette and how to use her more effectively. If you like this format, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to cover all the other blades in the same amount of detail. If you enjoyed, also be sure to subscribe and like the video to help out the channel, and look forward to my future content. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.